Good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. From a chilly Melbourne, Florida. Just like an Eskimo again. This sweatshirt, you've seen a lot of it because it's the warmest thing I own. And it gets a workout during the month of February and March. So, good to see you all, and right along with me. Drink it if you got it. Here we go again. Happy hump day. Happy hump day, everybody, while we wait for the crowd to get through the door. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Let's see what's going on. Is Kelsey done yet? Yes, they're done over there, right on time. And I guess hand the baton over to me and you and you. Had a great live stream last night. Had a ball. We were laughing so hard most of the time. We had a great panel last night. Gary, Rick, Amy popped in, Peter, me, and Butter Bob. It was so tickled to see him there. And we really, really had a good time. And those evening live streams are becoming just a joy, just a joy. We were positive. We took a little break and actually listened to Rick's new song from Barbara, Grandma Barbara. It's a riot. It's a riot. If you haven't heard that song yet, and we encouraged Rick to open his live stream with it, just like I open my evening live streams with the song she wrote for me. So thanks again, Barbara. It's just great. But that song she wrote for Rick, we were dancing and I was playing the air drums. I mean, it was just a ball. Just a ball. So thanks for that. And those of you who had good attendance last night, those of you that were here, I hope you enjoyed it as much as we all did. I believed for a long time that the most important thing we can do for each other after the advice on how to be healthy is to share it with each other, because it's so difficult to share it with the rest of the world who has a hard time dealing with their addictions. Those addictions brought to you by the clever scientists at the food companies and supported in the treatments of all the damage afterwards by the drug companies and their never-ending litany of new, amazing drugs. They're going to fix everything that they really don't fix, but just keep you being treated for the rest of your life, dealing with side effects. It's a terrible thing. And I've got a video today. I haven't edited it yet. I recorded it yesterday. I hope it isn't too negative, but it's talking about just the reason why our little movement remains little and hasn't really caught on with the masses yet and the battles we face going forward. So I hope you watch that. I don't expect it's going to go viral or anything, but hopefully it'll help all of you support in your resolve, because that's why we're here. That's the main reason that we come here in the morning, drink a little coffee, perish the thought, excuse me, because it's tough to stick to for so many people. And without support, without some kind of support, and the realization that you're not the only one that's having a hard time with the cravings, with the negativity, with the criticism, with the advice from your doctors coming at us from every direction, with the unlimited amount of temptation and propaganda that we see every day, all day, from everybody, even those that mean well. They think that they're right. They think they're helping. And they change so many minds and knock so many people off of this wonderful lifestyle. And we constantly try to, how do we fix this? How do we, and it's a very broad term, how do we heal humanity? When humanity isn't paying attention, they're out partying and drinking and eating from morning till night. Poisonous substances that everybody's telling them is healthy, or their addictions just simply won't let them leave alone. We have the answer. It's working for most of us. But when I come on here in the morning, I've said it before, I'm preaching to the choir. Most of you don't need preaching. You're here because you just want to be among other like-minded people, even though there are very few of us out there. So thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. I've always maintained that the purpose of my morning live streams is to try to motivate. It's tough to avoid the negatives. I'm thinking this morning, I said to myself, Mitch, what? I said, Mitch, how the hell are you going to avoid politics this morning after that speech last night that kept me up until almost midnight thinking about it, riled up? And I said, okay, you can do it, buddy. You can do it. So we're not going to talk politics this morning. Because again, I think with all but few exceptions, I would again be just preaching to the choir. So instead of doing that, I'll put that aside and leave that to each of you to look inside and decide for yourself what you really believe, what you really want, and who you identify with. I try very hard to stay away from the two third-rail topics that divide most of the world, and that is politics and religion. We all have our views. We all need to respect everybody's autonomy. We may try to change their minds, but that's where the conflict and the strife always come from. That's where the wars come from, the terrorism, all that just comes from people not just accepting what other people believe and not trying to force it on someone who's just not interested. I try to live that way. It ain't easy in this world because it's always coming to you from all directions. So we try to deal just with one narrow aspect of propaganda, ulterior motives, corruption, the quest for power, greed, and the other reasons that people always think that they have the right to tell you and me what we need to believe, what we need to learn, what we need to understand. And in reality, there's no one out there that has any right to tell us what our needs are except us. And they call that autonomy. And to me, that's the most important thing in the world. And if people don't like what you believe or what you know you need for yourself, don't argue with them. Don't try to change their minds. Allow them to think and do whatever they want, and ask for nothing more than they leave you alone and go do their thing somewhere else. I don't think that's a bad attitude to have. But there are people who would disagree with me. Here's to you, my friends, whatever you believe. Whatever you believe. What do we got here this morning? Lori Weisel checked in yesterday. Alarm set. And Lady June chimed in last night. Mike Seeley, greetings from Tampa Bay. Wayne Herman, good morning, Mitch, and all the Mitchfits from Lake Gaston. And Brian Dishes here, good morning, Mitch. The last hump day of February. Holy mackerel. That's a short month, and it's almost March. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. It's cold out there this morning. It was in the 30s here in Melbourne, according to the official temperature. But according to two different thermometers that I have outdoors, it actually was 42 degrees here. So I did go outside and get a little bit. The sun wasn't quite up yet, but I got some fresh air, went out, bundled up, had the hood, the knit cap on, and looked like an Eskimo. And I don't care if it's cold. I love to get outside in the morning, and it was great. It was great. I watched Kilty on my TV outside, and had a great guest from Mexico. Very interesting. I enjoyed that as well. Always like to see somebody who gets up earlier than me. Thomas, good morning. And Loretta Nadow, good morning. Darlings, have a fabulous day. You too, Loretta. You too. Mike Celia, Melbourne is here. A cool morning. Yes, some would say cold, Michael, but cool nonetheless. Lucy, work. Hi, Lucy. How you doing? And we have Rick from Miami here. And Rick, you got to start playing that song on your Saturday morning show. You got to start playing it. It's a riot. It's a riot. And I could see the joy in your face in the panel as we were enjoying it along with you last night. It's an absolute riot. The lyrics of that song. Kudos, Barbara. Kudos. Lori's back here this morning, and so is June. How are you? Terry is here. Hiya, Terry. Larry Ryan checked in. Good to see you. And how we doing on time? The winner this morning. Well, let's just let these guys off the hook, both of them. Lambs and Robbie Autry. Let's just say you hit the button at the same time. The two of you have got it down pat. Congratulations. And yes, it's hump day. Lewis, good morning, Lewis. Are you getting dug out up there in New York? Wow, what a storm. What a storm. They keep talking about. It was the biggest blizzard in the last 10 years. And I was talking yesterday about the time I got back in the 70s, and Barry Simon reminded me it was 1978. I was up in Boston on business. I was in my early 30s back then, 31 years old, a businessman. And I had to go to Boston for a meeting, and I went to Boston, and I got snowed in for 2 or 3 days with the worst blizzard of the century. I don't know if this week was worse than that one, but I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. Thanks, Barry, for reminding me what year that was. They all fade together after that many years ago, almost 50 years ago. Wow. You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say I was getting old. But I'm kicking and screaming. I refuse to get old. Chronological years. I refuse to get old. I refuse to act old. I don't know. I'll be 79 pretty soon, and if I rewatched the live stream from last night, or parts of it, and I watched the part where we were all dancing to Rick's song, and I'm playing the air drums, and I'm saying to myself, you act like a kid, Mitch. And yes, and please kick me if I ever stop doing that, if I start acting like an old man. I talk about my age with a lot of pride, but I'm not going down easy. And every time they kick me down and knock me down, I hope that I can set an example about the art of getting back up again, continuing past the depression, past the denial, past the anger, past whatever it has that happens when life kicks us in the posterior, and come out on the other side positive and young again. I think that if I do nothing else but set that kind of an example for people, I'm doing more than my share to help. So I'm proud of myself for that. My kids are proud of me for that. Sometimes I think my kids act older than I do. And one of these days, I keep joking that one of these days I may actually figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And that may sound strange, but that's how I feel on the inside. And that's where your true age really lives. I'm firmly convinced that our lifestyle makes that possible. Without that, I don't know if I'd still be alive. Not with all the conditions that I was fighting, not with all the pain I was in, all the medicines that I had to take for the blood pressure, not with the kidney stones, not with all of the damage from a lifetime of caving to my addictions and not figuring out how to actually put them to bed like this lifestyle has done. And probably that's the most valuable thing that I got out of this. Yeah, it's nice to be thinner. It's nice, certainly nice not to be in pain. And after a lifetime of trying to figure out how to achieve this, I come on here all the time just talking about it. If you're not doing this, you're really missing out on what life has to offer. And when life throws you curves, make the best of it. Make the best of it. It's always going to be a struggle. Something is always waiting for you around the corner that you don't expect and didn't plan for. Roll with it, whatever it is. I don't know how else to say it. Sean, good morning to you, and Steve Rogers, Captain America, superhero from Kansas City, Missouri, a regular, always here with us, as is Richard Williams from Copper Hill, Tennessee. Good morning to you, Richard. Spanky up in Canada. Hiya, Spanky, how are you? You haven't been to bed yet. Well, right after this show, go to bed. Chuck in Tampa, good morning, Super Tunes. How are you? Excuse me, Clearwater, Florida. Close enough. And everybody's starting to say hi to everybody. We have Donald McPherson. Good morning to you, too. And Edward Renner's here. Tammy, good morning. Yow, Mitch Fitz. And Rick, of course. If you got any questions or things you really want to talk about this morning, you want to bring to my attention, you think you want to hear a comment from me, put QQQ in the chat. I'll try to get to it. We're off to a raging start this morning. And Spanky's saying hi to everybody. Here we have Lois Lane. Another superhero, or superhero's girlfriend, anyway. Have you met Steve Rogers from Kansas City, Captain America? That's about as close as we come here. Good morning to you and welcome. I don't recognize you, so you may be somebody who has never been here before. Welcome to you. And everybody's still saying hi. And who is this? Rick says, I'm addicted to having fun. That's a great addiction to have, Rick. It's a great addiction to have. You are an addict, though, Rick, whether you know it or not. You're an addict. Not a very common addiction, but you're addicted to old technology. That's the definition of an addiction. It brings you pleasure. Well, pleasure is how we describe the chemical reactions of dopamine and serotonin release. They are motivating reactions. They urge us by putting thoughts in our minds constantly of those things that do bring us pleasure. Without that response and the opposite of it, which is pain, pleasure and pain, we'd probably just lay around and never get out of bed all day. That's how we survived. So all of us must be addicted to something. There has to be something in our life that stimulates a dopamine release and gives us a pleasurable feeling, or we would not be motivated. The animal in us wouldn't be motivated to do anything. So we're all addicted to something, and it doesn't have to be a substance. And it can be something that's good for us. But more than likely, most of those things that we have to be naturally motivated to do are the things that we don't want to do, but we have to do them anyway. Like get up and go out and plow the field, grow the food, build the shelter. So addictions aren't all bad. And Rick, you're an old rotary telephone addict, probably the most flaming one on planet Earth. Everybody's saying hi to everybody else, and Danny in Boston is here this morning. Good morning to you, Danny. How are you? Always good to see you here. And retired Rick. Another batch of yogurt coming out of the dehydrator. Speaking of dehydrators, I don't need another gadget. But I got my gadget addiction once again is rearing its ugly head. And I want to try to find the email. And I don't have it in this. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. I want to show you this. Jerry sent me this because we've been talking about dehydrated bacon. And of course, I think you can do it. I think I can do it in that Dome 2 air fryer, Typhor Dome 2 air fryer. But I could probably only do maybe 6 slices at a time. And to run that thing for 8 hours. So I said, I really haven't checked into dehydrators, and Jerry emailed me this link from Amazon. $127. But that's not the thing that that actually I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of the size of this thing, and yet another countertop appliance. Fortunately, I've got the room for these. I've got that, you've seen in my cooking videos, I've got that island over to the left of me. And I've got one thing after another there. I've got my Instant Pot, and then I've got my waffle maker, and then I've got my Typher Dome 2, and then I've got my sous vide thing, and then I've got my Typher Sink air fryer. And now I'm looking at a dehydrator, and she recommended this one. Look at all the room it's got in there. So I'm afraid that that's going to be the newest addition to my gadget collection. Rick, you're not the only one that accumulates these kind of gadgets. But I will probably order this one today. If I order it, I'll put a link on my links to stuff I use page, even though I haven't used it yet. And the nice thing about Amazon is if it doesn't work out, I can box it back up and send it back. But I must need excitement in my life, and I think that might be it. So, Jerry, I'm going to give that one a try. I will be making some videos about experimenting and playing with it, and maybe trying, although I don't know what I would be dehydrating other than bacon. Maybe make some beef jerky. But I don't snack. I don't snack at all. I eat meals. So the only thing that I would ever dehydrate are things that I might eat as a meal, and in the rare instance that I travel, take with me in case I can't find a suitable meal out there in the world. But I needed a new adventure right about now, so we're going to make the dehydrator, and I'm going to take your word for it, how good that dehydrated bacon is. And the nice thing about that, I hope having that around doesn't stimulate me to start snacking, because I really don't like to eat a bite of anything unless it constitutes a full meal. A meal that I intend to eat to satiety, to allow my digestive system to have 1 or 2 cycles a day, and that's it. And not graze, because I believe that is the secret to keeping my addictions at bay. Addictions which will never go away. They will only go to sleep, and you can wake them up in a minute. I'm living proof of that, and I don't want to do that. I like the food freedom. Why would I ever want to do anything that makes me a food slave again? And the biggest help for me to maintain that is to not have it sitting where I can go grab it at any time. If I want to eat, I have to usually prepare. I don't, at this stage, I don't keep the pre-cooked bacon and burgers in the fridge anymore. I don't need them for when those addictions rear their ugly head. I needed them in order to get me over the hump during that first 30 days. But after that, I'm better off, because I just don't get that hungry anymore. And that's the only time you should eat, is when the hunger really drives you to it. And your physiology does change. And that simple fact may be the hardest thing for people who can't even comprehend that they could live without the nagging thoughts of food from morning to night. That's the hardest thing, to get them to believe it's possible. And it does take some hacks and tricks to get over that, to where your body can learn that you indeed are not a grazing animal, never was intended to graze, never intended to eat. When you think about the variety of foods that fill up a supermarket and the few basic number of foods that we actually eat, most people can't imagine that we're really not supposed to eat that huge variety of crap in the supermarket. But you can't get people to believe it until it happens to them. True. True. Let me see what you guys are talking about. I'm 20 minutes behind where I'm looking at the chat. Aaron is here. Good morning, Aaron. How you doing? Good to see you. And Peter, fresh out of Kelsey's chat, is here this morning. Hiya, Peter. Got the day off. Peter told us he had the day off yesterday. Karen White, good morning from Canada. Good morning, Karen. I don't recognize you. If this is your first time, welcome. Welcome. I hope you come back. If I missed you before, never mind. That would mean you did come back. Good to see you this morning. We have many, many, many faithful Canadians that come here every day, as an example. Okay, and the chatting has officially begun. Peter and Spanky are hard at it, and Rick, Butter Bob. Good morning, everyone. The Rick song was fantastic. Good morning, Bob. How are you? Yes, we had a hoot last night. I had a great time. And judging by the way I'm dressed this morning, you'd think I slept in my clothes or just sat here from last night waiting for this morning. But no, I don't wear this sweatshirt all day, every day. I don't sleep in it. I usually wear it first thing in the morning when it's cold outside. But I'll take it off as soon as it warms up. It's going to be 71 degrees here today. 71 degrees. It's going to be gorgeous, gorgeous. And I think we're over the real cold snap down here. And it won't be too long before this thing gets washed for the last time, hung up in my closet, not to be seen again until next winter. But I do give it a workout. I do give it a workout, as well as this hat as well, which I do wash occasionally as well. I have a monstrous collection of hats, an incredible collection, and I just never seem to wear them. I don't know if this particular hat has become like my image, but let me show you something. I can stand up here, and I have a couple of hats that I display. I display these hats. Let me make sure I grab onto the chair when I go to sit down so I don't scoot back and fall on my ass. But I have an incredible hat collection. This hat here says Brown Eyes. And this was the name of my yacht back when I was rolling in dough. And Brown Eyes had this hat made. then I would wear this hat when I was yachting. So this was my yachting hat. I've been a pilot all my life, and I had a beautiful twin-engine Beech Baron, 6-seater, and this was my Baron 58, and 18386 was the number, and there's a little pin on there that looks like what the airplane looked like, and that was my my pilot's hat. And I keep these things displayed up on top of my desk there, along with a bunch of other memoirs of my glorious yet gone past that I'll never have again. So I have memories, and when you get to be older, sometimes that's all you got left. But remembering the things in life that you did and accomplished keeps you going as you get older, even if you can't do them anymore or can't afford them anymore. Just knowing that you did them and you accomplished that takes that kind of thing off your bucket list. Been there, done that. And I've got fortunate enough to have so many been there, done that's in my life. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to do those things that I don't have much of a bucket list anymore. And not having a bucket list takes a lot of pressure off you. It really does. It really does. You have, honest, very few regrets or feelings that you might have missed out on something. I always had that joie de vivre, that urge to do everything that I possibly could in my grasp to experience things. I've always had the you only live once, so just do it mentality. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've won and lost so many times, but I never regret not a single decision that I ever made. And I do fall back, and if nothing else, maybe I can impart a little old guy wisdom on these live streams. I always lived by the philosophy, like I said, you only live once. What are you saving it for? You know, grab the brass ring, knowing and not punishing yourself for those things you've done that didn't work out quite like you thought they might, and letting yourself off the hook with the rationale that I've always used. And that is, at the time, given the information that I had, every decision that I ever made at that time was the correct one. Because if you go through your life punishing yourself for those things that you constantly say, oh, I never should have done that. I should have done that differently. I should have known. Well, you can't know. You can't punish yourself for not being a fortune teller, for not being able to anticipate an unknown future. And we do that. And so many people I know, as they get older, spend their entire life with regrets. Now, I had a lot of bad things happen to me. I could have made different decisions, but I never punish myself. I always say, at the time, given the information I've had, that was, with whatever power I had to anticipate disaster, that was the best decision I could have made. That doesn't mean I couldn't look back and say I might have been better off if I hadn't, but I never allow myself to punish myself for that. And I think that is not bad advice. Honestly, I don't think that's bad advice. And everybody's starting to say hi to Bob. Hi to Bob. Bye. Everybody's saying hi to Bob. Oh, yeah. JoJo says, I could not fall asleep last night. I think I put too much salt on my dinner. Anyone have that happen? Before you ask, yes, I had plenty of magnesium. I have never blamed too much salt for keeping me awake. I'm very fortunate. I don't know how I do it, but I have a ritual at night. And living alone affords me the opportunity to not have to answer to anybody. Nobody can believe that you can get old and live by yourself and not be lonely. I just watched a video this morning, and it's on YouTube. I should make a link about it or put the link to this video. It's some 81-year-old guy, 81-year-old British guy. And he was like 56 years old when his wife died. And he's 81 now. And the video was entitled, Men Over 60, Don't Ever Try to Look for Another Relationship. And he talked for 15, 20 minutes about his adventure at age 62 where he got this girlfriend. And he thought he needed it. He thought that there was something wrong with him being alone. And he almost ruined his life. And he told the whole story of it and why now at 81 years old, we would give the advice to every 60-year-old man that if you find yourself alone, you regret letting somebody else in at that age. And it made a lot of sense. Now, is it true for everybody? No. But I found out the hard way because I experienced exactly what he experienced with years and years of frantic dating, looking for a new partner because I thought how horrible it would be. And I discovered the hard way that all of that stuff just gave me so much responsibility and so much aggravation and so much worry and so much stress and thinking, yes, I found the love of my life, only to find out the love of my life had 3 loser children and sick dogs and broken cars, and I ended up being like a full-time caregiver. That when I finally got my autonomy back, I revel in the fact that I am not responsible for the happiness of any human being anymore, and that I can do what I want when I want because I feel like I earned it and deserve it. But yet we always listen to what society tells us we're supposed to need, and we're supposed to want to do, and we're supposed to want to eat. And finally, when I got to, I would say, early 70s, I finally decided that the only time I was truly happy was when I could do whatever I wanted, when I wanted, not feel guilty about it, feeling like I paid my dues, and I'm entitled if I just want to sit there and stare at the wall and think about things, or go somewhere without having to explain to somebody else. Where are you going? Why are you doing that? I want to invite my kids over for dinner because they need money. Can you help out my kids? And I got 3 doctor's appointments. Can you drive me? And I had some relationships where they got sick. Now, if I had to have somebody be a caregiver for me, I would feel awful about it because nobody deserves to have me be a burden on them. And that's another good thing I think about living alone. I love it. I love it. I love it. I wouldn't mind having a girlfriend. I just don't want somebody that I'm obligated to that's living with me. You know, I have girlfriends. A lot of you guys I consider my girlfriend. But we're not obligated to each other. And that is the problem. The cost is too high to your own happiness and your own autonomy. Ah, well, how did I get off on that? Everybody's still saying hi to everybody. I'm at 7:18, almost 30 minutes behind. Let's see what you got, Mitch. Your Ninja has a dehydrate function. Yeah, the problem is you can't fit that much stuff in there. And if you're going to dehydrate something, you got to leave it running for all day. So if you're going to actually get into this dehydrating thing, I mean, 129 bucks is not that bad, especially if you can send it back in 30 days. If it isn't working for you, if you're going to run something all day long, it's nice to have 8 racks. Yeah, a lot of these appliances I have a dehydrate function, but I think maybe a dedicated dehydrator might work better. It's not just a dehydrator; it's another new gadget. It's an addiction I can entertain without any ill effects on my health. I don't think so. I'm the same way with. I love gadgets. I love those things. So if I don't use it, I'll send it back, or I'll find a place to put it off the counter when I'm not using it. Kathy says, if we lived in the same town, we could share all those kitchen gadgets. Yeah. Yeah. It would be an excuse to have a nice young lady over for a while. Donna, Bacon Runner, how you doing? Good morning to you. I have the Cabela's 12 tray dehydrator. Wow, wow, wow. Let me search Amazon for that. Cabela, Cabella, 12 tray. Let's see if I can find it with that. Holy cow. Is that it? I don't see the word Cabela, but boy. Look at this. Holy mackerel. It doesn't say Cabela on it, but it's a 12 tray. Holy mackerel. I see everything. Look at this. I see everything in there except meat. What a politically correct dehydrator that is. Look at this. We've got, what is that on top? It's not meat. Is that tomatoes, oranges, grapes, celery, cucumbers? What the hell? Wow, wow. Here's another one. Same thing. At least they say, I don't know if I need a 12 tray one or not. I think I'd be a little overkill. Or single, live by himself, good old Mitch that eats one meal, maybe 2 a day. What would I do with all that dried food? I'd have to almost become a prepper, for God's sake. Lori says, I can't do the gadgets. It's just me and the frying pan. I could get by. Rick does the same thing. Rick is not a kitchen gadget guy. He gets by with one cast iron pan and a couple of pots, I think. I have a couple of frying pans I use, and that's about it. But I love the air fryers. God, the air fryer. I use the air fryer. I use that Typhor Dome too now more than anything. I have no desire. I keep getting emails. God, do I get a lot of emails from people who want me to become want to sponsor my videos, want to send me more free stuff to test out. You'd be amazed. And I just don't respond to most of it. I don't need more stuff. And I really don't want sponsors. I tried that, maybe make a little money. It's a lot of work. And then you have a responsibility when you recommend things to people. If they don't work or they're not happy, they tell you about it, and then you feel bad. So I'm really not, I leave that thing up on Amazon. People use it occasionally. I don't, you don't hear me talking a lot about it, bragging about it in videos, you know, talking about help support the channel, do it. It's just easier this way, easier this way. But when I do find a gadget, I've had a lot of people ask me about that little chaffle maker with the 4 things in it. So I put a link on my Amazon page and people find it. The links to those things are in the description of all my videos. I just use a boilerplate description to start with for every video I post and every live stream. And in there is my Buy Me a Coffee link, my links to the Amazon stuff, to want to be a channel member, click to join here. All that stuff's in there. So you can always find it if you want to. And if you don't want to, that's fine with me as well. Yeah, Rick says, I order my gadgets from yard sales and dumpsters. That's your addiction, Rick. There are people that are thrifting addicts. And that addiction leads to another addiction in so many cases, and you got to be careful. And that other addiction that it leads to is called hoarding. And I throw out stuff or give away stuff very often because I'm not a hoarder. I'm the opposite. Clutter confuses me. So a lot of times I just get rid of something that's still would be nice to have. I just don't like to see so much stuff around. My house is so full of a lifetime of memorabilia and things that just mean something to me. Pictures, picture frames, that of all the furniture I have in this house, the top of everything is completely covered with things that are meaningful to me. And fortunately, I've got a big enough kitchen with a lot of counter space that can support my appliance addiction. Jojo says, I love yard selling. Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. Lady June, question, will you show us how to make jerky? I never made jerky. June, I never did, but I guess I'm going to maybe learn how. I do have a meat slicer, which I think would be almost a must-have if you're going to go into dehydrating. You got to be able to slice this stuff up thin. I don't use it much because I bought it for one purpose. I used to buy these whole hard salamis at Sam's Club when they were selling them, and I used to slice them up thin. And back at the time, I was keto. And one of the things I really liked to do, being keto, was to take cold cuts, the ones that were good for you. I would buy from a deli. I'd buy sliced smoked turkey, sliced roast beef, things like that, and salami, good fatty meat. And I used to take a big piece of like romaine lettuce, and I'd make these roll-ups. And I'd roll all the cold cuts together, and they ended up being about this big around. And I'd have 2 or 3, maybe 4 of those. It would be a full meal. And I used to love them. It's like eating finger food, but really tasty. It's like eating a Subway sandwich without the bread. You had all the different meats and cheese, Swiss cheese and fillings. You had the little bit of lettuce and just roll it up and forget the bread. And I used to do that quite often. So I bought this thing, and then Sam's Club, true to form, discontinued the whole salamis, and I pretty well put the slicer away. But I have it, and it would be very useful for slicing up beef to make jerky out of. And you can slice them pretty thin if you want to, but I have to look into it and learn how to do that as well. Without a racist, I used mine all the time when I had a garden. Now mostly for jerky and eggs. I can meat in an electric canner. I've never tried canning anything, to tell you the truth. Can only do so much. Can only do so much. Almost a half hour behind, and it's, oh my God, look at the time. 7:56. Where the hell did this hour go? Holy cow. I'm going to skip way ahead in the chat to get... Amy's here. How you doing? Hope everyone is having a great morning. Good morning, Amy. And Terry's here. Hi, Terry. If your yacht is like your roof, it will be docked in your yard. Oh, Rick, you get a lot of heat, don't you? You get a lot of heat. Yeah, Rough Carnivore is here. How you doing, Rough Carnivore? Yeah, true, Kathy. YOLO. You only live once. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many ways of saying that. And I truly, that's why I don't, at my age, I'm not going to stop smoking cigars. At my age, I'm not going to stop drinking coffee. If I was 40 years old, I might think about the long-term consequences. But when you've just been through what I have, you've had a couple of what you can say are near-death experiences. My head injury, my stroke. You change your philosophy about life. You stop worrying about your future. You stop worrying about building empires and big businesses and big futures anymore. You know that it's finite. It will come to an end. And that end is not going to be 40 or 50 years from now, because that just doesn't happen. You're lucky if you make it to 100. You're part of a very exclusive club. And that's 20 years away for me. So I kind of think that if I live to be 100, that's another 20 years. I probably have had enough by then. My grandfather lived to be 102. Make the best of it. So my philosophy these days, which doesn't work for younger people, is what the hell am I saving it for? I do pretty much everything I can to maintain the health that I've achieved, the weight that I've achieved, the lack of pain and food freedom that I've achieved, and those are the things that are important to me. But life-altering decisions aren't that important anymore. And you have to say, at some point in your life, you have to say, what am I saving it for? And just start doing the things you want to do. And if I didn't have my addictions at bay, or I haven't been able to control them like I have now for the first time in my life, by living this lifestyle, I would probably just eat whatever I wanted, suffer the consequences, and probably be dead in a few years, and still have lived longer than the average lifespan. So your priorities do change, do change. I can't give you advice to what to do at your age. Every one of us is an individual, but as long as I can feel like a kid inside, I gotta figure that at least something I'm doing is right. And I can just talk about how it affects me and my thoughts and priorities, and you take it for what it's worth. And maybe some of it helps, maybe some of it you think is very foolish. The things that can cause the most catastrophes in my life are serious accidents, so I have quit exposing myself to those risks. No more motorcycles for me. My son already came to that conclusion at 55 years old. Got rid of his motorcycle. Too many fools out there. Too many distracted drivers. To have a motorcycle accident at my age due to the carelessness of some young kid who can't stop texting while he's driving, or even some older person, would be devastating to my life. So I've become very, very cautious not to expose myself to some kind of debilitating accident, because at my age, that could be life-ending. A broken hip could be life-ending. So I do make those concessions because I don't want to get all busted up again. I want to stay away from the doctors and the surgery and metal plates like I have in my wrist and other things. So I don't climb ladders anymore. I don't crawl around under my house anymore to fix plumbing. I do all that in the name of safety. I wear, until I'm really confident that my balance is back where there's absolutely no risk of falling and I become that athletic again, I continue to wear my I've fallen and I can't get up button, and I'm not ashamed of wearing that. I take it off and put it next to me on the desk when I'm sitting here doing a live stream, so I don't have a whole bunch of things hanging around my neck. But I wear it. I don't go anywhere, whether it's in my house, without my cell phone with me. That's a paranoia that is left over from having had the stroke, and for the first time in my life, laying there helpless. And I probably, had I not had a way to communicate, would have died. Because I do live alone. And I can go days before anybody would ever come, even my kids would ever come looking for me. So I make those concessions, and I never, if I get out of bed, it's just crazy, but if I get out of bed in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I take my cell phone off the charger and always carry it with me. I'm never, ever, ever out of arm's reach of this. And I hear stories about people, even people in my community, who they find them a week or two later dead in their homes because nobody knew they had a problem and they couldn't communicate. And I'm very, very paranoid about that. So if I'm right and I'm doing the right things, you guys are going to have to put up with me for a long time to come, if you want to. Question, here's Rough Carnivore. Speaking of life lessons, how would you like to be remembered? Just doing what I'm doing. Just doing what I'm doing right now. I don't want to be famous. I doubt I'll be remembered. My kids will remember me. Maybe a lot of you will remember me. But in a generation or so, I doubt that even my grandkids will remember me. So I'm not I'm not a I'm not concerned that much about a legacy, because just about all legacies are forgotten anyway, pretty quickly. And I think that's natural. I think we're not supposed to dwell too much on the past. I hope I'll be remembered kindly. There are people out there that may remember me unkindly. I don't know. It's not something I'm concerned about. I'm more concerned about being liked while I'm alive, where I can appreciate it. It's like a funeral. I have no desire or even care about having a funeral. If I could be there and watch it, that'd be a different story. But I'm not worried about any legacy at all. Rick agrees with me. Living alone is the best. Yeah, well, we're over time as usual. Better start to wrap it up here. Let me see if I can get to the end of the chat real quick. Pick out any more QQQs. Got 114 people still hanging in there. Spanky says Kasori has a nice dehydrator. Yeah, and Kasori's a pretty good brand. I used to use their air fryers way back when there weren't that many different brands of air fryers. In fact, I still have 2 Kasori air fryers under my counter. What a collection I've got. Rick, like you collect old technology, I collect old kitchen appliances, it seems. Kathy says, Peter, our girl from Rick would be a member of the ladies' Olympic basketball team. Yeah, I'll second that. Yeah. And Spanky's a commercial food to 18th. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't need a 2,000-watt dehydrator. If I still had my restaurant, I might, if I wanted to serve dehydrated food. But now, I think that one that Jerry sent me, the $127 one, is all that I need, and it's not all that expensive. So we'll order one today. I will let you know. It'll be my next great adventure. Question. Loretta. Good morning, Loretta. How are you? Get the pre-shaved beef and put a dehydrator at 131 degrees of salt only. No need to marinate. Oh, okay. Pre-shaved beef. All right. That's a thought. I'm sure I'll get a lot of dehydrator suggestions. 7:58, 10 minutes behind, catch it up. And yes, Sandy, somebody may have asked you, Mitch fell at the gym. That's how I hurt my head. Stupid. When I do something stupid, I'll be the first guy to admit it. I worked out too hard, trying to do too much too fast, got myself completely, I guess, dehydrated and low on electrolytes. And then I went into the sauna and sat there for half an hour, and I got really lightheaded. Went out to my locker, hydrated, lay down on the bench in front of my locker to try to recover from the feeling of going to faint. Evidently, I don't even remember anything after that. I must have stood up, passed out, and banged my head on the corner of the bench on the way down. Ended up with a brain bleed. Medical community did not pay enough attention to it. Turned me loose with it still bleeding. 7 weeks later, I was airlifted to have my head cut open and a huge hematoma, subdural hematoma, removed from inside my skull, which I think eventually resulted in the stroke that I had right at the site of that surgery. So all of this drama I've had in the past 3-4 years of life medically was caused by my own stupidity, and I can blame the medical community for screwing up, but I can't blame them for the root cause of it, and that was me not being cognizant enough to not overdo it at the gym. Valuable lesson. Valuable lesson. Yeah, Rick, you're not likely to die alone by yourself. You got a lot of friends. I'm not interested in my neighbors at all. I have some great neighbors that do anything for me. My next door neighbor is a fabulous guy. He still takes my trash out for me. But he comes over every blue moon, sits on the patio with me, and we only have so much we can talk about. Rick says Mitch will outlive you. I doubt it, Rick. I really doubt that. And I hope when I am gone that, if nothing else, I'll be remembered fondly. And that my legacy will probably be there on YouTube for years. And I may accomplish what Butter Bob did. I may end up having 1 million subscribers after I'm gone. And I certainly will have to give my children the passwords and key to my YouTube kingdom, because it'll probably be generating more money after I'm gone if for some reason people still find my stuff valuable than it ever did when I was alive. And Bob is a living example of that. We were joking about it on the live stream last night. When he had enough of YouTube, 10 years ago, he had 18,000 subscribers. He goes away, 10 years later, comes back, he's got 127,000 subs. I said, yo, you discovered the secret for YouTube success. That is, stop doing it. And don't delete your channel. So, anyway, we're getting to the end of the stream. You can start saying goodbye. There's some happy music for you. That's it. I got to the bottom of the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I had a good time this morning. I don't know where the time went. It's almost 8:15. I don't know if anybody's waiting to go live or already have. I still have 113 people hanging in there with me. That's always gratifying and a good indication that I haven't bored the hell out of you yet. That's my biggest fear, just becoming boring and irrelevant. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing you all this morning. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, the members live stream. Always a good time. Might consider becoming a channel member just to come to that. If you'd like, help some little support this channel. Not much support. Not much of a financial drag either. Otherwise, I will be back on Friday morning Coffee with Mitch, and then again Saturday evening for Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live. So, everybody saying goodbye. Loretta says, always a good time here. Spanky says goodbye. Lamb says goodbye. Steadfast 20 applauding. Lori applauding. Have a great day, everyone. And there goes the music. If I missed saying hi to you, hi. I'll see you the next time. I will more than likely put out a video today, tomorrow at the latest, so look out for that. And until tomorrow night, you know the drill. Take the rest of the day off and eat meat.